fighting games are not releasing much news in the past week since we last recorded. Fighting games are we're on a little bit of a tighter schedule here just for the moment due to past schedule slips. Guess we're paying the price now.
Yeah.
And other than that, there was the release of DNF Duel, though I haven't been paying attention to that because I haven't been actually really any interested in it.
Now, before we begin, I just want to put the bingo card on screen in case people want to play along. So there you have it. Make
Okay.
make a screen cap if you want, I guess. And now I will remove it. But yeah. So I got the best news. Well, some of the best news that I could have gotten out of fighting games. Because my girl is
What's
in.
that?
My girl is in. Foo Fighters is in All-Star Battle R.
All right.
And like Foo Fighters was one of the, or how do I even say this? I bought Eyes of Heaven because the last JoJo game I played was Hades for the Future, and I was like, well, I want to have something to compare it to, and also like the Eyes of Heaven just in general was very interesting to me, just on the basis of it's an arena fighter in the vein of Ninja Storm or the Ultimate Ninja Storm. No, yeah, fuck it, whatever. I said the same thing. Doesn't matter. So yeah, it's an arena fighter in the vein of Ninja Storm, but it has Roman cancels. How and why? And
Yeah.
one of the things that disappointed me in that game, because like what I went in with tempered expectations because I know what to expect out of Ninja Storm type games, but one thing that disappointed me still was the lack of Foo Fighters, because Foo Fighters is my favorite character from Part 6, and her being added to All-Star Battle just gave me another main.
Yeah.
To the five others I already had. Like JoJo is bad for these sorts of games because unlike Dragon Ball or Naruto, at least in my experience, you don't really attach yourself to one character and then stick with them throughout the whole series because it's kind of an anthology series. You attach yourself to a character every season, and then you stick with them until the season is done, and then you move on to the next set of characters.
Yeah.
And like because of this, I think aside from part 1, I can probably list you at least one character from each part that I really liked. Which also means that there's there's 8 parts. So there's 7 characters that I want to main. Which is a problem. And that's not even counting the duplicates. Like both of the protagonists of part 7 I really liked. So I would like to play both of them. But that's 2 more characters to learn, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But overall, I've just been really happy with All-Star Battle R. Like it's not Heritage for the Future. Like it won't be a competitive fighting game, but it's gonna be fun, and that's what matters to me. So judging from the beta we played, at least it seems like it will be fun.
Yeah, I'm a bit tight for money now, probably will be for the rest of the year. But it's definitely one I want to keep in mind.
Yeah. It's coming out. When the hell does it come out? Like, fucking the 9th month, I think. I don't remember. I don't remember the release date or the month, for that matter.
August?
Maybe? I think that's October. I don't remember. I don't fucking know. Either way, yeah, it's a while until JoJo's comes out, and like, even for me, it's a thing of like, I would like to pre-order this game, but suddenly there's at least 3 games that I can just call out coming out in the next, like, I wanna say 4 months that I would really like to buy, and all of them will be too expensive for me to buy.
Yeah,
because like
that is always a brutal position.
Because like I would like to buy Digimon Survive because it looks interesting and up my alley, or at least half of it. I don't like Fire Emblem, but hey, I can live with it. But like that seems up my that's coming out this month. Then we have JoJo's, and the game after that I remember coming out that I'm really looking forward to is Mega Man Battle Network, the collection,
All right.
and then eventually Street Fighter 6. But who knows when that's coming out? Like really, both of the Capcom games coming out in 2023 is like, well, I'd like both of them, the ones that I know of. But at the same time, who knows when the fuck they want to actually release them, or when they can, I suppose, is the better way to put it.
Yeah.
So yeah, either way, that has been going on. DNF Duel did release. I saw a match. It's like I feel like there's a very important thing to watching fighting games, or like there's an important thing to keep in mind when viewing fighting games that some people don't really regard sometimes. I don't think, but there is a big difference between tournament players and normal everyday, just online players, and both of them matter in how the game is presented. Which
Yeah.
which to me is just to say, like, it's a thing of watching Daigo do moment 37 was really fucking good. Like it's a great moment. At the same time, how many people are there who then went out, bought their strike, and did the Daigo parry immediately? None. Or if there are, they're fucking god. But like,
Well, I'd say there were none that did it immediately, but I'd say there probably were a lot of people who did see Moment 37 and were like, "Oh shit, Street Fighter 3 might actually be good."
yeah,
Because you
but
got to remember
yeah.
that Street Fighter 3, when it came out, people thought was shit. I mean, what's Mike's reaction to Street Fighter 3 every time we bring it up? Oh, that shitty game with all the weird characters who doesn't nobody likes it.
Well, yeah, but Mike hates everything that's not Street Fighter 2 or like anything that came out after 1980. So,
Well, that's true.
but yeah, like my point being that like public perception is hinging both on the tournament
Really
players
likes
showing. Yeah, go ahead.
the matchup of Hakan versus Guy really tickled him.
Yeah,
Shoot, Hakan shooting Guy out of his ass in particular.
yeah. But like my point being that um public perception is shaped not just by tournament players doing cool shit when they can, if they can, but also by people just watching the like regular Joes like us play games and fucking seeing how we suck. Because overall we do. But you know,
Yeah,
like most people buying a fighting game will not get tournament level play, especially not immediately. You will get intermediate level play at best, and that's where you will be for a lot of time. And I'm
yeah,
bringing all of this up because I didn't watch any of the people I know who I know how to play fighting games or play DNF Duel because I wasn't really interested. But I did come across like a regular Joe playing DNF Duel online and posting a match, and I was like, whatever. I could, I haven't seen a game, but they or haven't seen the game, but they say this was a good round. So maybe maybe I will see what other people saw in the game. And on one hand, it does allow for for more. You get to do
Mo
shotgun.
combo.
Yeah, you get to do shotguns. No, you may. I don't know. Does the sniper guy have shotguns?
I know nothing about this game.
All right.
I have not seen a second of gameplay footage. I do not know any of the lore. I do not know any of the characters other than that a lot of them are just very literally named like grappler, fighter, wizard, stuff like that.
Yeah. My point is that like okay, that's not the best way to put it, but whatever. So, uh, what I'm trying to say is, while the game does allow for more combo freedom and stuff like that, at the same time, the combos I saw were kind of just like the same combo repeated 3 times, and that was your combo.
Yeah,
Like it was like okay, so I'm gonna
but
still
when you're
yeah
dealing with new players, they'll often find a combo and be like, "Oh, that works," and just do that one over and over again.
Oh, I'm not talking about combo repetition in that sense. I'm saying a combo looked like you take the other person's turn with a counter or something like that. You get a hidden, and then you do one string of inputs 3 times. As in, like, let's say your combo is uh low kick, medium punch, and then special special. So that would be
Yeah.
your combo in Street Fighter. In DNF Duel, your combo is that, but you do it 3 times, and it counts as one combo. And I know I'm being petty, but I am very peculiar about the sorts of ways I like combos and shit like that. And this is not a way that I like combos, because, like, if a combo requires me to do the same thing over and over again, then I might as well just do footsies. Is my thing. Like, it's a thing of, like, four jabs as a combo is technically a combo, yes, but it's not really, like, it doesn't warrant me trying to fish for starting a combo to do 4 jabs. And that's pretty much how I feel about repetitious combos like that. It's like, I get it, but it's not exactly what I like. And I guess you could bring up, like, dust loops and stuff like that, but even with dust loops are fucking hard to do, for one, and dust loops can have variants or two.
Yeah.
And, like,
Of course, the
genuinely,
game
yeah.
is new, and you didn't watch every match that's been played, so presumably there are different combos.
I mean, fucking hopefully. But, like, it just looked like a lot of the game is decided by the specials. And, like, I'm fucking I know I'm coming off as hypocritical, because I'm usually like, man, do combo. I don't like footsies. And now I'm like, where is my old DNF duel with the fucking what should I call it, the honest footsies. But no, genuinely, like, my thing is just that, like, I don't like seeing repetition that much. Like, I'm fine with repetition of combos, as long as intermediate level takes you. As in, like, I'm fine with someone learning one combo and then doing that combo until it fails, and then they have to learn other combos. Oh no. But when genuinely a combo is taken up from, or taken up with the same move, and it's not just something that you tie the combos, or tie the moves in the combo together. Because there's also things to be said about, like, for example, Li Chaolan. One of Li Chaolan's juggle moves is back two, and
Yeah.
back two is a very important juggle tool, because back two gives you uh, spacing, and also gives you height. But
Yeah.
back two is also a linchpin, or whatever. Like, back two is there to tie your other moves together, and you can do moves between back two. The combo isn't uh I don't know, like, fucking back to one, and then you just go back to cancel into back to one, back to cancel, back to one, and do that over and over again. Like, that, at that point, that combo is lame.
Yeah.
And, like, I will still look into DNF Duel, not because I want to buy it, but just to be informed. But as it is right now, it feels like the combos don't feel like the like it feels like kind of the similar but the opposite issue as MK11. But, like, it's not.
Oh,
Bless you.
excuse me. Huh.
Where it's not the lack of combos and things posing us combo variety, but it's combo variety and things posing us combos.
Yeah.
But once again, I will still look into the NF2 just to be informed. So, this may change. I may go like, yeah, the game's hype eventually. I did not, when he was announced. I did want to play the sniper guy, just because he literally is Dante with that swords. Like legitimately has Dante's animations in places. But yeah, and then there was another thing. There was a game coming out, but I don't remember what its name was. It was an indie game, and I will look it up. Thus, thanking the recording of this podcast. But let me see if I can actually find it. Oh yeah, I guess this is not news, but it's something interesting to discuss. I guess while I look for the indie game that got released. So
Yeah.
a year ago, Capcom held an art exhibit with Tezuka Productions, and they did a Capcom versus Tezuka art piece, and that sparked some discussion about a new versus game.
What is Tezuka?
The studio that made Astro Boy. I nearly called him the Japanese name, but you wouldn't know him by that. Astro Boy and Kimba the White Lion and Blackjack. But I always want to call Jack Black.
Uh, that could sell in Japan, but over here it'd be another Capcom versus Tatsunoko kind of situation where there's like
Yeah.
a few of these things have been done over here in the West, but for the most part, this is a mystery. Are you just saying you want this project because they've got a Sengoku Basra character in the picture?
No, I'm not saying I want this project. I don't fucking care. I said it's part of discussion about a project. Like it's part of discussion of a new versus game, and that's pretty much it.
I mean, I just it doesn't sound fun to me personally. Though I'm sure there are people who are really into the Tezuko characters that think that would be hype. I just never have read or watched any of them, so it'd be not as exciting as the other things Capcom has gone against, except Tatsunoko, which again I had no interest in because I had never watched or read any of the Tatsunoko characters.
Can I not
Like
find the game? Okay, go ahead.
I prefer for everything to be ported over here at some point because who knows, it might turn out to be a really good fighting game, or maybe there just are that many Astro Boy fans in the West. But for me personally, I have absolutely no interest. I mean, like if we were everybody knows that what everybody wants is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Or excuse, well, yes, everybody wants Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but also everybody wants Marvel vs. Capcom 4. And
I mean, I want CVS 3, but that's never happening. So hey,
CVS 3, yeah, I think CVS 3 is a pretty common desire. I don't know. I think CVS 3 and MVC 4, or at least an MVC 2 remaster, could very well be in the cards. But Capcom, understandably, has almost certainly refocused on let's get the Street Fighter hymns in a row, right?
yeah,
Don't lose focus here and get distracted. Because Capcom's fighting game division has been such an infamous clusterfuck for the last 10 years, they kind of have to go back to basics and re earn everybody's trust.
yeah, and like who knows? Like I'm hoping that I hope that if Street Fighter 6 succeeds, then we can get another like 90s era Capcom where they're just where the fi- fighting division or whatever the fuck. It's just like, well, we wanted to make a game, so we made Red Earth.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck that people don't fucking play it? I don't care. It was fun. It's fun.
Well, games are a lot more expensive to develop now than they used to be.
True. But there's just like there's a thing to those games, not necessarily Red Alert, because still, like I watched a video of Red Alert recently. I still don't like Red Alert. Like I thought it was a thing of I just played it around a time that I couldn't appreciate it. No, Red Alert is just not for me. It's like you think that the guy who is fucking constantly raving about single player modes would be like, yes, single player RPG fighting game. But no, somehow like it's both the execution of RPG stuff isn't the best in my opinion, and also I don't like the aesthetic. And aesthetic is very important to fighting games. So
Yeah. What game is it you're looking up to begin with?
I'm trying to find because I found a different one, I think, but there was an announcement for an indie game launching or not long from now, where they were like, don't not only support the AAA people, and I wanted to bring that up because it's like I get your point, but try being more professional, maybe.
Well, no one ever likes for to be directly asked for money. You know.
Yeah, like I don't know if it was actually like the people working on the game that posted that thing, or if it was just a fan of that game, or someone who has been following it since its earlier development. But like legitimately, it was like,
Oh,
yeah,
if you get news from Reddit, you got to watch out because that's definitely where you're going to get the people that are like, support your indie fighting games. I'm virtue signaling to show how intellectual I am because I support indie development.
yeah. Never mind that like half of the indie fighters are just don't come out, which is fair.
Yeah,
Like fighting games development is hard, but like
yeah,
you know, tempered expectations and all that.
yeah.
But I didn't find the thing I was looking for, but apparently there's a new indie fantasy, dark fantasy 2.5D fighting game, and I'm not pressing on the video, but I already see Booba, so this will sell if it comes out.
Yeah.
Like immediately, the first thing I see is just fucking I'm forgetting the name of the game. Not Dishonored, but the other one, the one with Alex Mercer, I think.
Oh, prototype.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I see like anime prototype man, but like more generic than actual prototype man, and also Booba elf lady with sight.
Of course.
And yeah, like it, it's a thing. Let's see if there's anything. Let's see if there's anything interesting here. No, not in the video, but apparently this is not an official post, which is surprised they are actually being professional. What the fuck? But
Yeah.
I'm trying to see exactly what they're trying to sell here. Well, not much. Uh, okay, yeah, not much. So basically, they listed off a couple of games for inspiration for mechanics and art style separately. For mechanics, it's Darkstalkers, Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, King of Fighters, and Tekken. Which like okay, so two air dashers and three traditional fighters.
Eh.
That's a choice. I mean, I guess it can still be like Uni, where it's sort of in the middle between the two, and that could work. I like Uni, so hey. And then for aesthetics, Darkstalkers, Castlevania, Bloodborne. Just,
That's not some bad choices at all. That's some quite good choices.
but I feel like at that point you should just call it Gothic architecture, or aesthetic, or aesthetic,
Well,
or aesthetic choices are Gothic architecture and Cthulhu.
well, I Cthulhu can be a fighter, but if I'm fighting a Gothic church, I got questions.
I mean, look, we need.
Okay,
Yeah.
imagine a stage in like Red Earth style single player fighting game mode. Your character shows up to a stage with a big Gothic church in the background, and your character goes, "I'm ready to face my opponent." Wait, where is he? And then the church booms down at him. Fool!
Yeah.
Face your greatest challenge yet!
Like
And the church
I
has
yeah.
human legs that it just stands up under like a nesting chicken getting out of its nest.
Yeah. Like I just we need more weird fighting game characters. I think. Like not even weird in the sense of like Necro. I mean weird in the sense of Blitztank.
Blitz tank, yeah.
Because like aside from
I'm not sure it'll get weirder. Blitz tank.
like how
Like,
many characters like Blitztank can we list?
Sargetto.
Yeah. Abyss, I guess maybe.
Yoda and Soul Calibur 4.
Fucking Oddjob. I mean, I don't know if
Yeah,
yeah. Uh,
that pretty well is Yoda's role in that game. Yes.
hmm. What are like very weird characters like that are there?
I
I
mean,
like
there we were just thinking of like characters with massive size differences.
yeah. I mean, if massive size differences, then that one meme character from Melty Blood, Nekoark, I think.
I have no idea who that is.
So you know how in Mugen you'd have normal sized people, and then you would have like sprites from a GBA game,
Yeah.
and you know how sometimes the sprites from the GBA game would not be scaled up so that the sprite wouldn't look like shit.
Yep.
That's Nekoark.
Right. Okay. So she's again Yoda.
Yoda, but worse because Yoda is dick height. Nekoark is ankle height.
Oh boy, nothing but sweeps.
Yeah.
Amazing. A character that requires every other character on the roster to be rebalanced to fight her.
Yeah. And then I suppose with massive size differences, Faust. He doesn't really use it,
Faust's a
but he
big
could.
one. Well, Faust also is just Faust can also do the crouch walk.
True.
Which, oh boy, now that I come to think of it, how have we not mentioned any Darkstalkers characters yet? Lord Raptor is very similar to Faust in that way, including the crouch walk.
Yeah. I wanted to bring
Oh
up.
my fucking
I
god!
wanted to bring up Anacaris, but like the thing I remember about Anacaris is that he starts the map out or the level out as a background object, and that's it. Like I don't think he has like particularly great size
No,
differences.
Anacaris is super fucking weird. For one thing, if Anacaris backdashes while he's at the edge of the screen, he teleports to the other side. He
Ah,
comes off one side of the screen and goes back on the other. For another thing, when Anacaris jumps, he does not jump. He turns into a floating platform that is like on a... Like, imagine there are two rails going through the sky. Anacaris doesn't jump, he just transfers to the next rail up. Or goes
yeah.
down a rail. And then there's fucking Whitzel, who just floats when he jumps. He just flies. It's like he immediately turns into Marvel vs. Capcom flying. Oh boy, yeah, those fucking guys are gigantic weirdos.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, both Morgan and Eno have the
Yeah.
have their dash flying, whatever
Cliff,
you want to call that.
Cliff and Deadpool, I guess, are in the same category for weirdness
Yeah,
in that sense.
aggressive taunts. Yeah,
Aggressive taunts and Cliff is also Yoda size, so
that is true. Yeah. Oh, fucking from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Surfbot.
Ah, yeah, you're right. And roll for that matter.
Yeah, definitely want to include her. Is there not someone from the Marvel side of the roster that was just super weird? Well, Sentinel's a big fucker, so he'd probably be in there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of Marvel. Onslaught? Was Onslaught in anything? I forget.
He was, but he wasn't playable. He was just a boss.
Ah, okay.
Boss characters, I feel like, should be disqualified.
Yeah.
Unless they turn playable, like Witzel. Sentinel's big. Hulk was probably fairly big, but not too much.
Yeah, like I'd say Sentinel is as close to Kusarigado as we've gotten so far. And
Yeah.
Hulk is about half of Kusarigado, so
Eh. Was there not someone else big on the Marvel side of the roster, though?
I don't remember. I feel like there was, but I don't know. But then again, like for Marvel, like I for the Marvel side, I mostly remember the Marvel One roster. So
Yeah.
let me see. Just who was in MVC two, so I will remember, and then no sizes, hopefully. Amingo.
Yeah.
Just no elaboration. Amingo.
What about the stand-up comedian character from Marvel One?
Oh yeah.
Or no, he was in Marvel
That
Two,
guy.
wasn't he?
I don't think he was. I
Oh,
don't remember. I guess Saber Suit was kind of big, but not really. Although for another weirdo from Marvel, Shuma Gorath.
yeah.
I wonder why the Japanese like him.
It's a mystery to everyone. Combat is like the least weird character friendly, so I'm trying to think of. Goro's weird every time he's playable.
Like Goro is kind of weird, but then there's Shiva, and she like Shiva's not that weird. Moloch.
Yeah. Several characters from Armageddon.
Yeah,
Oh, Naga was fucking weird.
yeah.
Not going in a different direction other than size.
Wait,
Jacko, huge weirdo.
Jacko is a huge weirdo, but to go back to size for one, oh, like there's two. One of them is not a size weird one, but for size, Jin Sao Tome. He doesn't act weird, and then there's a fucking mech arm that reaches in and grabs you like King Kong.
Yeah.
But for the other weirdo from Capcom's side, Captain Commando, he's 5 characters. Like Captain Commando, if you're playing, has an assist he can call in, and also an assist he can call in, and also an assist he can call in, and an assist he can call in, and an assist he can call in, and also the character you chose to be an assist he can call in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely right. That is kind of weird.
Oh,
Hmm.
for size differences, BB Hood.
Yeah.
I guess
Man,
she.
the other day
Yeah, go ahead.
I tried to show my dad Darkstalkers, and I picked. I don't even remember who I picked. But the first opponent that they matched me up against was, of course, BB Hood, and BB Hood is easily the Darkstalkers character that's the least easy to explain. Like, oh yeah, it's Red Riding Hood as a fighting game character. She's
She
the
has a
most
gun.
vicious out of all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, she has a gun. It's Red Riding Hood, and she hates people.
like the like. It's weird thinking back to Darkstalkers for me because my three characters from that were fucking Galon, Lord Raptor, and BB Hood, and I feel like those three.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
I oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say you can probably like look at those three choices and then go and look at any other character I play and just go, well, yeah, of course, makes sense. Like the best part is I play what's her phrase Sylvana or something, or was she Silly Paula I think her name is the KOF 14 chick. I play
Yeah.
I play her but exclusively only in the Red Riding Hood outfit because it makes her worse. Like the eyes and shit like that is it's trying too hard. No, Red Riding Hood outfit. You being murderous is better because I guess it reminds me of BB Hood. I don't know.
Excuse me. Sorry.
But yeah, bless you by the way. Uh, let's see what other like weird game mechanics I can think of. Hmm.
Oh, for weird mechanics.
Well, because we moved from size differences to weird mechanics. Because Jacko is a weird mechanic. I think
Yeah.
is how I define her.
Yeah.
I guess for a weird mechanic, uh, Hazama. Because like Scorpion has the chain, but
Yeah.
Hazama has 360-degree freedom over the chain.
Yeah.
And then let's see. You know, I tried to think about Mortal Kombat characters, but like most of the Mortal Kombat characters I remember are just like Fireball, Uppercut, Teleport. And I mean like can you blame me? Isn't like I don't know, at least a third of the roster dead sometimes.
Yeah. Pretty well. Huh. Give me just a second to deal with what I am currently dealing with, I
All
suppose.
right.
Uh, yeah, for like the Mortal Kombat. Yeah, Mortal Kombat is a bit lacking for weirdos. Tremor's a bit odd with how like his moves largely behave the same, but it have different properties depending on what variation you picked.
I guess so, but it's not really the like interesting version of weird, but it is weird. Like at the
Well,
same time,
nobody
yeah,
said that it had to be interesting weird.
yeah, true. But at the same time, isn't that like half of the people where the variation things did they actually change shit? Because like Shinnok, Necromancer Shinnok plays or uses similar moves to I forget his other variation names, but he plays similarly to the other variations. But some of his moves do different things, and then he also has bone arms.
Shinnok was very different between his variations. He had the amulet one let him steal a move. The staff one, which gave him new normals with much longer ranges, and the bone hands let him summon giant bone hands out of the earth. So, one that was a bit more adapts based on opponent, one that's a bit more pokey, and one that's a bit more zonery.
Yeah, one that's a boner.
Yeah.
Shinnok can take over NetherRealm. He needs more calcium.
Yeah.
But
How are we
anyway,
not making those jokes at the time?
I don't know. Uh,
Yeah, there's got to be a weirder character from Mortal Kombat,
I mean,
mechanically speaking.
do we do we want to count the conquest modes too? Because if we do, then
Uh,
Shujinko is the weirdest Mortal Kombat character ever. Dude just fucking changes into everyone else.
yeah. Oh, yeah, from that perspective. Oh, God, Shang Tsung, yes, is up there as one of the weirdest fighting game characters. just turn into your opponent.
Yeah,
In some games, he just turns into a random character off the roster. You don't know which. Midway through the match, you just hit the random button.
yeah. And then I guess up there with Shang Tsung in that sense. I suppose our Mokujin, Tetsujin, fucking who else? Blade or Edgemaster, Killikin in
Olkadan,
Olkadan, Killikin Soul Calibur 5.
Charade.
Yeah, Abyss. No, not Abyss. Abyss was the other guy. Abyss was Zaslamel's final form. Uh, what was the name of the?
Necrit is a
Yeah,
Necrit is along the lines of Shujinko, where he has this cannibalized moveset entirely built out of one or two stolen moves from every character.
yeah. And then I guess aside from Namco fighters and Shang Tsung, nobody really does the stealing moves gimmick.
Yeah, Rogue in Marvel vs.
Yeah, the Rogue.
Capcom. Seth in SF5.
You are right.
But yeah, I guess that's the extent of move stealing.
Yeah. I guess Robokai in whatchamacallit. You bought me this game so I can look at the title. Let's see. Which Guilty Gear was it? Iska. Robokai has two versions. One is Robokai as you know him. The other one is combat. Speaking of combat, but
Yeah.
but yeah, Robokai 2 in
How many
Iska.
characters?
Yeah.
How many characters are there that can make an air platform? Because Injustice 2 Sub-Zero can do that, but there's a few others that can do that, and that's always weird every time.
Colleen.
Yep.
Rimururu.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, she does that.
Who
Who?
else? Rimururu.
I have no idea who that is.
You know Nakururu?
Yes.
Her younger sister who has ice magic.
Okay. So far, it's all ice magic people.
Yeah. Let's see. Toph in Nick All Stars.
Yeah, Toph. Yeah, if we want to. Oh boy, if we want to include platform fighters, that's a whole nother class of weirdos.
Yeah. Who else? I feel like one of the characters from Rivals of Aether can do that, but I don't know for sure, so I won't count it.
Yeah.
Hmm. That might be it, because no one really comes to mind.
Yeah.
It really feels like Jinky Saragi can do that, but it's like it's less on air platform and more on air hodo that he just like jumps off of.
uh,
That's it, I
I
think.
think we're pretty well. Yeah, I think we're pretty well dried this well. Is there any
Yeah.
other topics you can think of?
Well, before we move on to that, I just want to say that the game we were talking about with the Dark Fantasy 2 fighting game thing, the one with the Booba elf. If you know if someone's interested,
Oh, excuse me.
bless you. That game is called Umbral Core.
Of course it is.
One of these days, I don't know. I genuinely don't know if this would be copyright infringement. But one of these days, if we don't get a new Darkstalkers, I just want like I want like a heavy metal fighting game release called Fetus of God. But anyway, so yeah, the other piece of news that's not, I don't know if that's really news, but like it's an interesting tidbit that I didn't bother to check yet. But apparently, you know how Raven in Guilty Gear Xrd has the BDSM meter.
Yeah.
So apparently, what people figured out, or seem to have figured out recently, is that when Raven gets a full BDSM meter, he pops a boner in game.
I'm sorry, what?
Apparently, Raven is supposedly has an actual erection in Guilty Gear Xrd.
And nobody's noticed this until now?
I guess not. He does wear baggy pants, so
Eh.
like it's one of those things where like it's probably a lie, but it's believable as fuck because it fits with the character. I haven't checked yet because if I'm putting off Guilty Gear, it's not gonna be to check Raven's cock, but but
Eh.
so someone who with more dedication to cock physics needs to take a look and like measure the pixels, I guess.
Eh.
And yeah, I just wanted to bring this up because it's so dumb. And aside from that, I believe that's all of the news that we had because it's you know not been there's not been a lot. Street Fighter is trying to rethink things because of the leaks
Yeah.
and KOF.
I mean, they made it
Yeah,
clear with after Guile, they said, "Don't expect anything for a hot minute, guys."
yeah. And then let's see, KOF is still having netcode issues. To everyone's surprise, you know. But
Eh.
that I feel like there was Strive news, but it wasn't like big news. It was just like patch notes changed shit. And I don't remember reading the patch notes, so like it was big changes if you play the game, but we don't play the game, so we wouldn't know really.
Yeah.
And what other active fighting games are there even? I don't know. So, did you
Eh.
play, or rather, what did you play in the Capcom Fighting Collection? I was this close to calling it
Uh,
Capcom Fighting Jam, and if they,
I actually haven't
yeah,
played. I actually haven't played it a whole bunch since the last recording because I've been so up on 2K22. So I actually don't have anything to add there, unfortunately.
ah, then let's see. I mean, we could technically discuss WWE 2K22 because it is in many ways designed like a fighting game.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's definitely you can tell that they were trying to take cues from fighting games a lot. But at the end of the day, I think it would still not be classified as a fighting game so much as, say, All Stars would. Because, I mean, there's several reasons, but one that just off the top of my head is characters receive overall ratings that you can change, whereas All Stars, all the characters are supposed to be equal, right?
Yeah,
Like explicitly, when you start up 2K22, if you pick Drew Gulak versus Brock Lesnar, you're supposed to be fighting an uphill battle. Whereas All Stars, if let's say if Drew Gulak and Brock Lesnar were in All Stars, which boy that would have been precognizant. If they were, then Drew Gulak would have just as easy of a time beating Lesnar,
yeah.
or possibly even be dominant. Because I want to say when All Stars first released, the most top tier wrestler was Drew fucking McIntyre of all people, who kind of a joke by the time All Stars released.
So what you're saying is that everyone with the name Drew is overpowered in All Stars. At least at the start.
I suppose so.
I mean, technically, we could discuss Battlegrounds because that was 2K trying to do All Stars, but I didn't. I my PS Plus ran out when that was free, and I didn't renew it for it. Cause fuck that shit.
Yeah, and I played it for a little bit when it was made free for PlayStation Plus, and I just went, ooh, this is bad, this is bad, ooh, this is stinky, this is stinky. And I know there are guys on the forum who say that All Stars was the worst thing to happen to mankind since cancer, but All Stars was a lot better than that.
Yeah, my favorite bit from them making that free is like a couple of hours after it went live, just watching the wave of people tweeting at Sony to be like, yo, what the fuck, this game doesn't work, it won't start.
Heh.
Yeah, and I'm just in the background going, yep, 2K. Like this is a pain that you only know if you've been following wrestling games.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Nah, either which way, yeah, it's not been a super exciting week for fighting games. KOF hasn't had any news since the showing off of the Orochi version of the rock and roll team, huh?
but they are literally called Team Orochi, so they showed off
Oh.
They showed off Team Orochi squared. But yeah, that was the last thing that I know of. Hey, most of the news,
Hey, yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Most of the news that I've been seeing or recently are tied to well, tournaments which we don't really interact with, or the fighting collection. Like for the fighting collection, like it's news where like, hey, Capcom put out a things a poll so that they can steal your data and sell it, and also maybe you can get a new Darkstalkers out of it.
Oh, I. Everyone steals data nowadays and sells it. I don't fucking care
I'm
anymore.
I'm making that saying that as a joke because like
Oh,
yeah, no, it's legitimately they put out a poll, or not a poll but a survey. They put out a survey that you can fill for them to have analytics data for stuff, which is par for the course with like fighting games for the past couple of years, but it's par for the course with video games for a while. I know this because I did a lot of fucking polls for Ubisoft like
yeah,
5 years ago. It's one of those things where like they either need the data for analytics, or they need that data to sell. So maybe a little bit of column A, and a little bit of column B. But
yeah,
either way, like the data is necessary for this sort of stuff. So yeah, and they are trying they like they are asking stuff. I didn't check what they're asking in the poll because I did not buy the fighting collection. So trying to answer questions about the fighting collection would be disingenuous, in my opinion.
yeah,
But other than that, maybe this means that they're actually trying to get metrics on people's interest in collections like these, or new Darkstalkers, or a new any of those games that's not Street Fighter. And if
yeah,
it is so, then I am for it, because I would like a Buster Cross 2. Check that off of the fucking bingo card right now.
yeah.
It is
It was
it is
inevitable.
it is by law. I am required to shill Buster Cross, even though it sucks.
Heh.
But yeah, the news 70 like that, or it was characters for All Star Battle R, which, like, they announced a lot of characters, but all of them you would have, or a lot of them people who played the original would know, and otherwise it's just like, I can list you the character names, you won't know what the fuck that they mean though. So
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you that Foo Fighters was added in, and like I'm imagining you're just thinking of, okay, so the whole band of Foo Fighters is now in JoJo. Cool.
Dave Grohl is going to fucking kill Josuke.
Yes.
He's had enough.
I mean, to be honest, if they could get a guest character of an actual singer or something like that, and just license out a song with the license to the singer, I'd be hyped because that would be peak JoJo. But also just the idea of beating up fucking Dio with Dave Grohl or Symphony of Destruction is playing in the background is great.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. What was I going to bring up? Because there was something I wanted to bring up regarding all this, but I don't know. So I guess the other stuff, and that's less actual fighting game news and more fighting game community news or whatever. Is recently Harada did an interview with Markman, and uh, for one, Harada spoke English.
Huh?
Like he didn't ask the questions in English because he's still self conscious about his English skills. But Harada introduced Markman in English. He replied in English sometimes, not always, and also did the outro to the whole thing in English. And he speaks English fine. Like he has an accent, but
Yeah.
he has an accent, but he's also like 40 something. So that's the
Yeah.
that's the least you would expect out of him.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Now the big thing is that the reason I wanted to bring this up is because they brought up, community and all that and Evo because Markman works for Evo.
Yeah.
And Harada just didn't relent. He's just like, okay, so you know how Evo sold to Sony. So what did you feel when they announced that they were getting, or Evo was getting sold to Sony? And it's like a thing of
Heh.
like, if Markman really spoke, like if Markman has had better opinions about the sale and spoke out, he wouldn't have a job, so he can't answer.
Yeah.
Because like even if he genuinely says, "Oh, I was fine with it," it will come off as not genuine. And
Yeah.
Harada was legitimately was like, "I was fucking livid,"
Huh?
which I think that's the actual newsworthy part. Is that like then again, I suppose the thing is the nuance of he wasn't livid because Evo was sold to Sony. Harada was livid that Sony, like a week before the announcement, went up to them and was like, "Hey, so we're buying Evo and we're announcing this next week." And Harada was like, "We can't like schedule Smash in that time. What do you mean you're buying Evo?"
Huh?
Because apparently that's his job. Or if not his job directly, he needs to overlook, the booking of games for Evo and stuff like that. And apparently, the allotted time to freaking to get it is not whatever the allotted time there was.
Huh?
uh, but it's genuine. Like it was so funny to me to just hear him going, "Oh well, when they told me, I thought Evo sold out," just like that.
Hey, you know the guys you work for? Fuck them.
Yeah. Uh, but like that's one of those things that I like about that show is that, like, I know Harada is not popular for having a cult of personality, which I think is the best way to put his position anymore. Because Harada is in a weird position where like he used to be the director of Tekken directly. Now he's not. Now he's the director of all fighting
Yeah.
games at Bandai, which means that
Yeah.
he has more power, but he has less power over Tekken. And then also because of some of his remarks and some of his fumbles, which he some of them he own up to was just him being or him messing up, but because of that, he's also become rather on or not well liked among the like core FGC, and his YouTube show is like this weird fucking window into Harda being unprofessional while being professional at the same time somehow. Like there's parts where he is the guy who does the interviews for Tekken and shit, and there's also parts where he's just like, uh, what should I really bring up? Because there were a couple of great moments that where he was just like, oh, I don't care. Like really, it's a thing of when he's asked about Tekken, he will not say anything. Like he will say the most minimal thing that he can, and even then, sometimes nothing. Like I remember the guy who worked on Virtua Fighter 5, the new one or the new version. He asked him, "So Harada, do you have any plans that you can share with us for Tekken 8?" And Harada went, "Yes, I would like to work on Virtua Fighter 6."
Yeah.
Like that was legitimately his answer, and he didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
But uh, he just wouldn't stop with stuff like this. Like I think he like might have accidentally shit talked Crazy Steve or fucking Tasty Steve, but like in a loving way. So like it's a thing of like, at least to me, it seemed like the sort of shit talking that we do to Mike, for example, where like Mike says these things or Mike is this way. We like Mike, and he was also like, I love Tasty Steve. He fucking he like when I went to the West Coast the first time, I saw that and I saw him. I was like, yeah, that guy is the West Coast. And then he's also like 20 minutes later, he's like, oh, they were talking about ghosts with Markman, and Markman is like, Tasty Steve probably sees ghosts, and Hoda is like, are you sure they're not in his head? So like, it's those things where like it's weird to see Harder in this light where he's like, it's one of those things where like he's being unprofessional, yes, but that's also kind of the purpose of the show he's doing, and he's like trying to show a side of him that's more human,
Yeah.
and that's like, and the remarks he made to Tasty Steve were obviously not trying to be like, oh, Tasty Steve is actually fucking crazy, like he's just fucking cuckoo bananas. No, it was the playful banter type of shit talking. But also, I like how with all of the players he's had on, he's always like, or not even just the players. I think he had Ono on or someone like that, and uh he asked him too, but he's like, so when you first saw me, what was your first impression? And like for an example to this, for an example to this, he brought up Ono, and he was like, let's take Ono for example. He asked Markman, what was your first impression of me? And then he goes, oh, because Markman was hesitant to answer, and he was like, okay, so let's take Ono for example. What was your first impression of Ono? Because when I first saw Ono, and then they had to censor what he said, and that was so funny. Just the censor.
I thought he was a dirty, nasty fucker who hates people.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, like I count this towards community news because it's like the Horror's bar as a show. You wouldn't think that it really adds to these sorts of topics, and I mean in a lot of ways it doesn't, because like a lot of what I said doesn't really pertain to fighting games. But at the same time, you can get morsels out of small things that people say that they can't really talk about. Like her did bring up as an example, NetherRealm as an example for how to handle not being in arcades anymore, and that means that they're gonna look at NetherRealm and what NetherRealm is doing and try to apply that to all of Bamco's fighting games. Maybe is there confirmation?
Yeah.
No, but news can still come out of these banters, and even if not, since Tarada and all of the people he's inviting and they agree to it, or opening themselves up to the public, I think it does even if it's not immediately game related, you can still learn about how the games are designed because a lot of the important people that he brings on our people, like game directors like he was.
Yeah.
And like when he brought on Sakurai, I don't think they ever talked about fighting games or like the Smash really, aside from Sakurai going, "Fucking god, I'm glad it's over. I can actually talk about video games again." but like,
Eh.
but like when he brought on Sakurai, a lot of that discussion went by with Harada going, well, people see you as this sort of character, or at least the thing I'm seeing from the internet is that people see you as this character, and I know you to be something different, and I wanted to show the world that. So I'm glad that you agreed to do this interview. And Sakurai was just like, yeah, and then he just fucking
Yeah.
make jokes. Uh, but yeah, so I think that's all for news. You said that you didn't play fighting games. I didn't really play fighting games. I don't think. So I think we can call it there then, unless you have a
All
topic.
right. None that I can immediately think of, but we've got 2 weeks to think of more.
That is true. Oh, I just found a topic that actually that I think it is not too long and could be interesting.
What's that?
What do you think is the ideal percentage of returning to new characters in sequels?
Well, there was oh, I forget who it was. I feel like it was Pixar at one point said their formula or no, it wasn't Pixar. Shit, I don't remember who it was. But there was someone at some point who's no, Shigeru Miyamoto. There we go. Shigeru Miyamoto once said that his formula for sequels is 33% stuff that returns from the previous game completely unchanged, or more or less unchanged. 33% stuff that returns from the previous game, but changed in significant ways. 33% stuff that's entirely new. So I think that's a pretty good split for fighting game rosters.
I can agree, but it's also a thing of like in fighting games. I feel like it's a bit more rigid than Mario stuff because with Mario it's one character doing these different things that can change.
Yeah.
But with fighting games, it's once again we come to the like I can only call it the critical strive issue, but there's other games like it. It's just the first one the first one that came to mind. But like,
It's
uh,
a personal one for you.
but like, how much change in a character makes it a different character.
Yeah.
Like, it's a difference of Baiken is different between every game to Ramletar, I guess. Because Baiken, like as much as I don't like Strive Baiken, I don't like Strive Baiken because of Strive's general mechanics, and otherwise Baiken is Baiken for the most part. Like, you know,
Yeah.
Ram on the other hand apparently completely changed playstyles.
Yeah, she very definitely went from more of a setup trap character to a very neutral heavy poke character, didn't she?
Yeah. And so like I think that's the thing where like Baiken amounts of change are fine because Baiken, like I can still look at Strive Baiken and go, yes, that is Baiken. That's not a Baiken I want to play, but it's Baiken. Whereas with Lemletor, while I think a lot of her player base play or still may play Ramletor in Strive, but that's probably because of feet. But
I was about to say Ramlethal is probably one of the characters I think of as most notorious for people just play her because they're horny for her.
yeah,
Like the Melina player base is mostly the same. Don't get me wrong, There's just some characters who have that. Darkstalkers has that with Felicia.
Yeah. But like I definitely have read a sizable amount of people who were like, I used to play Ramator because I really liked her playstyle, now I can't. Because they changed her.
Yeah.
And so like in the sort of sense that like 33% characters remain the same between the, or mostly the same between the games, to 33% of characters who are changed slightly, like get or abandon a couple of moves, get new moves to replace them, and then 33% completely new characters. I guess that I could go with that, yeah.
Yeah.
But then once again, it's the amount of change with the characters that really matters, because um what am I trying to say? Character loyalty is a thing that exists, and I should know about it. Pretty much.
Eh.
Still haven't bought MK11 just because Ermac's not in it. I wouldn't like it even if he wasn't. I probably still wouldn't buy it because I don't like the game. But still, my point is made.
Eh.
But yeah. Oh, I guess the last thing that's not really, I don't think it's news for this week, but it's something that we forgot to bring up, or at least I did. But apparently, on the on Gal's modernized inputs for Street Fighter 6, you can play as the Street Fighter 2 AI.
Huh. That's frightening.
Yes. Like I don't remember if it was said that it's supposed to still have a charge, but it's charging a punch instead of instead of a direction. If there is still a charge, then that's fine. If the charge is like put into the move, so when you press it, there's a delay between when he does it and when you input the move. That's fine. If it's Street Fighter 2 AI stuff, it will be amusing for a bit, but I hope they patch it if it's that.
Yeah, because that would make Guile like. The thing with the simplified is that you're losing a lot of inputs, right?
Yeah.
But for Guile, that doesn't matter so much. Guile doesn't need all that many buttons. Guile has 2 special moves, and that's all he needs.
Guile needs 3 buttons: Flash Kick, Sonic Boom, Glasses.
Yeah. But hey, the glasses is actually 2 buttons.
I mean, not necessarily on the simplified input.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, and I believe that's all then.
All right then. Fighting games were.
Yeah, fighting games were.